Unlike Rush Limbaugh, I am not America's anchorman. But according to Aaron Bjork, I am the anchorman of the epicenter. And today's Sophie Soul monologue has to do with what's happening in San Francisco. San Francisco, an example of the indoctrination arm of the left, aka government-run schools, is at it again as the school systems out there are considering the renaming of high schools. The renaming of a high school named after Abraham Lincoln as well as George Washington. No debate, according to Jeremiah Jeffries, who is the chairman of the committee in charge of renaming the schools. He says the history of Lincoln and Native Americans is complicated. So I guess his name is going to be removed because Lincoln didn't do enough for Black Americans. This is what you're getting from the left. And the left controls, dominates the school system, I should say the government-run school system in America. And what you're seeing with this renaming, statue toppling, and other means of erasing our history reminds us of what George Orwell said in his novel in 1984. Every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street building has been renamed. Every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. And the party in 1984 now is the left in America. It's not just happening on the West Coast, it's happening in the state of New York, where Governor Cuomo just recently signed into legislation banning symbols of hate. Just the next step before government begins to control speech. And as Governor Cuomo has signed this legislation banning certain symbols, without, I think, giving clear definition of what those symbols are, he says that the country faces a pervasive, growing attitude of intolerance and hate. It's become a cancer, he says. But he's missing the cancer of suffocating government overreach, putting small businesses into an almost inescapable chokehold that are struggling simply to survive this COVID crisis. And by the way, it's not the COVID crisis that's causing the problem. It's government's hyper response to it in their overly aggressive, freedom-suppressing handcuffing of small businesses. When you look at what is going on the left coast and our coast, I think the Babylon Bee has a pretty good point as to what is happening. Abraham Lincoln is to be removed from the penny and be replaced by the BLM fist. That's the direction our country is heading in on both coasts. We need to be aware that these erosions of liberty are being taken away by the left that really aren't liberals in the classic sense of the word. For if they were liberals, they would be wide open for the freedom of speech. What they're about, Cuomo, as well as the left, especially in San Francisco, is suppressing free speech. Well, unlike Tony Kornheiser, pardon the interruption, I cannot promise you that I will do better the next time.